It is the We Are You Morning Crew. Good morning to you, and especially you. I'm so glad you are here with us today. Ladies and gentlemen, when I recreated the platform WERUradio.com in 2018, it was my first inkling to make it a platform for the artistry of the LGBT community that was mostly and still currently ignored on terrestrial radio and what we see as commercial radio, mainstream radio. And then as I began to, go through that, I also realized that this is a platform to raise awareness on issues that affect our community. And as we've been giving you information throughout this year of all the bills and legislation that is being passed, that is anti-LGBTQ in its writings and mainly anti-trans in its writings, here in our very own state where WERUradio.com is lodged and headquartered in the state of Georgia, there is a bill that is going to affect yet again the trans community. So, Lioness, I'll let you take the lead, give our listeners the details on what's going on, and then we'll give our opinions and how we're feeling about this.
Yes. So I want to tell you a little bit about this bill. And so here in Georgia, as in a lot of places around the country, there is an attack on the civil liberties of folks in general. The government is trying to make an attack on people's bodies and their right to privacy and their right to make informed decisions with their care providers about what's best for them. One such bill here in Georgia that was voted on last week in the House is called Senate Bill 140. Senate bill came up Thursday morning, and it was tacked into a bill for Thursday morning, and they're trying to push this anti-trans bill targeting trans youth. Now, parents and supporters of transgender children expressed devastation at the Gold Dome on Thursday after the Georgia House voted to pass an amended version of Senate Bill 140, which would ban surgical and hormonal treatment for minors diagnosed with gender dysphoria and criminalize doctors who treat those children. Georgia is one of at least 21 states where at least 85 similar bills are in play or have been at play this year. Parents and transgender children will gather for a prayer vigil this morning at 9 a.m. So that started at 9 a.m. at Central Presbyterian Church in downtown Atlanta. And then they are heading to the Gold Dome, to the lobby against so that they can talk about a lobby against this final passage, which could happen as early as this morning. So at 10 a.m., there's a group of us going down to the Gold Dome to advocate for trans kids and at the Georgia State Capitol, that is Capitol Square, Southwest Atlanta, Georgia, 30034. Now, the bill would likely go into effect immediately to governor's office for his signature. George, I am just feeling a way about this, and I just really want people to know, if you're interested in really using your voice in this moment, we need you to stand with us. We need you to articulate and use your voice. And even if you can't go down to the Gold Dome today, we need you to contact your representative and tell them to vote no on Senate Bill 140, because it will actually negatively impact trans youth, denying them critical care that they would need. And it would also criminalize doctors from being able to provide trans services for trans youth in Georgia. There are so many components of this bill that could be detrimental to our lives, but more importantly, as Georgians, we should be concerned about this attack on our civil liberties, our right to privacy, and the right to make decisions about how we want to raise our families. George, what are your thoughts?
You have been very, very diplomatic in your dispensation of this information, and for that I will congratulate you. I'm a little more passionate about it because it angers me, because I see the evil that is behind it, but it presents itself as a will to protect. Let me first say that these bills that are being passed around this country are in the guise of protecting families and children. But I want you to know that it is very, very much the impact and the will of privileged principals that of a patriarchy that has allowed itself to discriminate openly through legislation. These
Uh-huh.
people have given lots of money to Ted Cruz's and Trump's and Kemp's and all of these Greens and all of these Bombards and all of these people that you hear openly saying, we're protecting kids, we want to save the kids. It's never been about the kids. It's been about protecting patriarchy. Let me be clear. If the state of Georgia was wanting to protect kids, then why is the foster care system in Georgia failing kids? Georgia has one of the highest rates of children in foster care in the United States, and the state's foster care system has been criticized for its high turnover rate of caseworkers. They can't even keep people to take care of the kids that are in the system. They have inadequate funding, a lack of resources to support children in care. These issues have resulted in children being moved from home to home to home and not receiving the proper care and support they need. But there's no legislation that has changed this situation, but it's about the kids. The juvenile justice system. Georgia has been criticized for its juvenile justice system, which disproportionately impacts children of color and low-income families. The state has been accused of incarcerating children for minor offenses, failing to provide adequate education and mental health services, and using solitary confinement as a punishment. But these laws that they're making about the children, if it's about the children, why do these types of systems exist? Education in Georgia. They have struggled to provide adequate education. We're number 39 in the country when it comes to
Wow.
education, but it's about the children. Child protection services in Georgia, they have been criticized for their handling of cases involving children abuse and neglect. The state has been accused of failing to properly investigate cases, leaving children in dangerous situations, and not providing adequate support for families in crisis. But it's about the children. Oh, these laws are about the children, but a child can be forced to carry a baby if she is raped or a victim of incest. But it's about the children. It ain't never been about the damn children. It's about patriarchy, plain and simple. And for those of you in community, oh, I'm on my bag today. For those of you in community that are clapping at this bill and saying, they shouldn't do that to the kids. Let me tell you a little nasty behind something when you were playing hide and go get it behind the house. You were old enough to know what you wanted to hide and go get at that time. But these children, for some reason, aren't. And for those of you in community who are wagging your tails and saying, I agree with this, it's because of a trans woman who had the audacity to walk with her head held high as a brick was thrown at her that you're able to marry the person you love, that you're able to hold the person's hand you love in public. It was because of a trans person that you have the right to live in a neighborhood unashamed about or fear that you could be violently attacked. So when you sit in community, Black community, LGBT community, and you agree with this bill, you are part of the problem. And we should all be ashamed that this is happening in our state. But you can do something about it. You can be a part of this rally that is happening at the state capitol. You can be a part of the voices that are being raised by sending emails and calling your senators. You can be a part of the problem for Republicans in this country that are passing these laws. I'm sorry I was long-winded, but this was on my mind all weekend. We are sitting here seeing our country being devoured by people who are devoutly standing in their Christianity. That's air quotes on that. In their
Yes.
Christianity, as if Christianity itself is being attacked, and as if Christianity is the only religion in the United States, as if it's the main religion. You know what I mean? It
Yes,
ain't.
I find this to be, George, you have really said a mouthful. I want to say, first of all, when you write, you can be long-winded. And I appreciate everything that you just said. You just read the heck out of these people and the hypocrisies that are at play here in Georgia, and how Georgia as a state is failing on so many metrics regarding human life and the protection of its people, but yet it wants to attack further its own citizens. Georgia, you in danger, girl, because we right now are in a position, Georgia is, to be a really, really successful, prosperous, booming place. We are in our rolling 20s in here in Georgia. And what's frustrating is that we don't see that history repeats itself. That if we make the wrong decisions, we can squander this opportunity for Georgia to be a liberal bastion and a blessing in the South. And y'all can actually, Georgia can mess it up and mess around and make this state worse than it is, because it's not really doing well as it is, from what George just said. And I love Georgia because Georgia has been my home for over 20 years now.
Yes.
But I want to say that Georgia, you're going to have to do better about making sure that you care about its citizens. Don't let these other small little towns make you write a check, make Atlanta write a check that the rest of this country can't afford.
Okay.
I mean, the rest of this state can't afford.
Okay. And finally, it rolls downhill. You said this before, Samaya, as well. It all rolls downhill. You're looking at this bill and you're saying, oh, it ain't my kids. Oh, I ain't a part of the LGBT community. But ladies and gentlemen, African-American studies, woke thinking, as the Republicans call it, are on bills as well, too. If this comes for one community, it rolls downhill. And they've already showed you in the state of Florida what they think. They've already shown you in the state of Texas what they think about the lack of educational value of African-American studies. What other things do you think are coming down the hill, ladies and gentlemen? Y'all better beware. You better be careful. Y'all better speak up, because the rights of the least of those are going to be the rights of most of those. Pay attention. Now, I'm off my soapbox, ladies and gentlemen, but I'm serious about what I do here at WERUradio. And we have to protect our people. Whatever our differences are, whether we agree or not, if it's not causing you grievance, if it's not taking food off of your table, if it's not taking away your rights, your liberties, then you should be fighting. You should be fighting tooth and nail for the reasons that the Constitution was written. Now, be it all, it was written in the time when you were not allowed to read or write. But however, we have the pursuit of life, liberty, and happiness.
Right now on the We Are You Twitter page is posted a link to how you can contact your representative right now from home and tell them to vote no on SB 140. Go follow us on our Twitter page. Go and click the link, and there's a link right now that will show you how to go and visit your representative. It was given to us by the American Civil Liberties Union, and so we want you to take this moment, tell your representative, vote no on SB 140. That this is the anti-trans bill targeting trans youth in Georgia.
And what was the young lady's name that came by and made us aware of all this?
She was an amazing attorney. She is the First Amendment policy advocate for the American Civil Liberties Union, Georgia, and her name was Sarah Hunt Blackwell. Shout out to Sarah Hunt Blackwell. She was amazing.
Thank you so much, Sarah. We are in the fight with you, and anything we can do, however we can use our platform, we will use it for this fight until the end.
Download the WERUradio app.
Turn it up loud.
Use the shout-out feature to talk directly to your favorite station. It's available on your app store. Search WERUradio, one word, today.